Alright, as you can see, I combusted in actually both of these vapes. This is kind of what that looks like up close. There's no ash in this one, but you can definitely smell it burning, and you can, if you pick these up and smell them, you can smell it inside of there. So I've got everything here that I need to clean, which is either a paper towel, some hemp wick, degummed hemp wick, or cotton, alcohol, and then I got a little tube here with just a little bit of salt and alcohol in it there, so you can see that. Just a little bit of salt, a little bit of alcohol, so that I can clean the parts out easier. Basically, I'm going to show you my method of cleaning them. I don't like to make the milk because that just takes too long. So basically, the first thing I'm going to do is take off the caps, because I don't really do a whole lot with the caps, except for towards the end I just used a little Q-tip and wipe them out. But the first thing you're going to do is don't take these apart when they're hot, because I find that that is not as good for the O-rings. But you basically are going to take them apart, just be real gentle and spin them, kind of wiggle them apart here, and they pop apart. You can use the lid to go ahead and pop out the condenser. You can see it's probably a little dirty in there, but you can go ahead and pop out the condenser. Just be careful if you're doing this that you don't bend the lid in half. Be careful with the amount of pressure you're putting on there, and then always just be careful with the O-rings as you're pulling them out, because there's a lot of O-rings in there and you don't want to lose any of them, because then you would need to buy new ones and that wouldn't be good. So there's the 3 O-rings. You'll notice that they are different sizes. The bigger size goes on the towards the mouthpiece there on the end to kind of close the end there, and the smaller pieces go on the inside grooves here on the condenser. Basically, this is how I take them apart. Then I will set this guy down on like a paper towel, because it's going to make a little bit of a mess, and I will just stick this guy through, push the screen out. If that doesn't work for some reason, then you can use kind of like a dowel, push that down, or a drill bit, or this is a coat hanger that I've just cut and bent. Get the screen out. I kind of set that aside and do those last as well. From there, what I will do is I will wad up a little bit of, if you're going to try and get some reclaim, I'll take a good wad of the degummed hemp fiber, or cotton, whatever, just enough to kind of clog the hole. Take it, I put it in from the mouthpiece side, where the mouthpiece is. This is where the tip would be, like this. So I put it in this way and push it through. Make sure it's pretty tight ball, so that when it fits pretty tightly in there. Go ahead and just give it a push through. I do this about once or twice. You see it'll pop out the other side here. I actually usually don't use the reclaim, so especially when I'm cleaning them, because they've combusted, so which is why I'm doing it here. There's not very much reclaim. It's just purely because I combusted, so the thing tastes bad. So I'm just gonna, now that I've kind of got the reclaim, I'm gonna take this and just get a small piece of paper towel, because I don't, I'm just trying to clean it. And I do the same thing, I just kind of shove the piece of paper towel through. Do that once or twice. You see there's a little bit more that came off on that. And then you can go ahead and, again, do it once or twice with this little piece of paper towel. And that's pretty clean, so we're good there. I usually then I like to take and wipe off the end here. Make sure you get all that off, and then the last piece I'll do is I'll just drop it in here and do kind of a shake it up a little bit, and then you gotta go ahead and pull it out. However you gotta pull it out. I usually use tweezers. This will work just fine. You stick it in there, pull her out. They're gonna be a little remnants of alcohol and stuff in there, but that's fine. I usually do that, rinse them out, then I use soap and hot water. For the tips, I usually do a Q-tip, dip it in the alcohol. Again, you could push a piece of cotton or degummed hemp fiber through there to get the reclaim. But again, these are just combusted, so I'm just going to go ahead and clean them out. Try and clean out the tip area pretty well, get it nice and shiny in there. And then same thing, I just a little alcohol through here to clean this guy out. Keeps it good. Basically, I go until I kind of can't smell the burnt smell anymore. Looks pretty clean in there, both sides. Doesn't smell burnt anymore, it just smells like alcohol. Then I'll do the same thing here with the tip, or the Vap cap. It's probably fine, so I just dip a little bit in ISO and wipe it out. Make sure you dry it out completely. All these parts, if you're going to use ISO, that's why I wash them rinse them afterwards, and then wash them with soap and water. Because you don't want the alcohol is flammable. So then again, I'll usually drop all my other parts in here except for the Vap cap. Don't drop that in there. For the wooden bodies, normally I do the same thing with the get a little alcohol in the Q-tip there from the alcohol dispenser and just kind of wipe it down. And then I do take some, you can see that it's getting kind of dirty, make sure it's dry, clean, pretty clean. Some kind of either the Dynavap conditioner or whatever, you can rub that on the outside and again try and coat the inside a little bit with it here. You don't want a ton, just kind of like chapstick, just a little bit to kind of keep the wood from drying out too much, things like that. That you don't need to. These guys never go into the. These two never go into the cap, and the wood never go into the alcohol. They just get wiped out, swabbed out. Oh yeah, and this piece that we had dropped in here, don't forget to go ahead and shake that up, get that one nice and clean. And again, you can kind of do the same thing with this guy. Just stick your poker in there, press them against the wall, grab them out. And then for the screen, I found the easiest way for me is just to go ahead and get a Q-tip with some alcohol again, take your screen right here, you can see this, and just kind of try and rub the alcohol on it. Got a little salt on here too, but just basically rubbing it with the Q-tip and alcohol, maybe flip sides and rubbing on both sides. And it usually comes pretty clean that way, doing that. So, it's a pretty rough clean. I didn't spend a ton of time trying to do that one, but so you can see how it's pretty clean, I'd say, for how little I really did to clean it. And again, just rinse it off, a little soap and water, and then put it all back together. You'll be good to go. I also use the oil or the whatever conditioner you have on the rings as well before you put them back in. Just rub it on your finger, rub it onto the rings a little bit, and then put it all back together. I rub it on any of the rings, anywhere it's connecting. So just a little on your finger, rub it around like that, and then you can maybe kind of see that it's a little bit shinier now than it was. Maybe this one is not as shiny. And then like anywhere around the tips, anywhere that I've done, especially anywhere I've cleaned it with alcohol, there's a couple of O-rings here. So go ahead and like re-wipe them with the conditioner.